Here's a good example of really steely of nerves is the character Thomas Shelby and the show Peaky Blinders. Totally unemotional guy. You can take him prisoner, put a gun to his head, he doesn't care. And so if we look at the arguments that we're having where the person is completely emotional, he usually wins those arguments. Which is the same thing with conflicts in relationships with women. She's yelling something, she's nagging something, she's trying to get you emotionally. And you take a calm look at her, and she's already tucked in because you're looking menacing, and she's not giving you any indication that you've already blowing off steam, i.e., yelling at her. You calmly tell her that she's either out of the apartment right now or you're gonna be 10 minutes from now. You're gonna throw her stuff through the window and, of course, actually prove it. You prove it, you start a timer, and when the time is up, you start the process of tough parenting. In general, ironclad nerves are nothing more than your perception of the situation. You can yell. A hysterical girl can yell at her boyfriend. You tried being cool. And in fact, are cold-blooded. Behavior is that calmness, and it helps in a lot of situations, right down to the point where you have to save your life. Because your logic when your calm starts to work, which, of course, you think of new ways out of the situation. The very behavior of Thomas is the pure ideal of what you need to be when talking to people if you want to be calm and serious, and not panic, and don't get off on trivialities. It's just a matter of to look more closely at him. How he communicates with other people. He doesn't talk too much. He's quiet more often than not. He ignores stupid questions. He doesn't react to negativity and responds to people by showing his indifference to his aggressive behavior. In order to develop this behavior to begin with, it's worth revisiting to the aesthetic dynasty of the samurai and take the beautiful words of the samurai dynasty. Live like you're dead if you're dead. Dead, why bother, right? Let him live like you've already lost. When you prepare yourself for that, the defeat won't break you. That's because you've already experienced defeat. So what else is going to break you? It's also worth remembering that taking it out on the other person is a loss because they has made you emotional. And in dangerous situations, emotions can only hurt you, and don't remember to remind yourself of this more often, to remind yourself of that more often, and when you're at the height of your emotions. But you can't snap out of it because the situation will not be in your favor. At this point, I always remember the rule of thumb. 5 seconds, 10 seconds you breathe in, 5 seconds you inhale. Because breathing helps us to regain control of our bodies. That's how I got rid of the urge to jerk off seriously like this. Sit down and start breathing like this. You enrich your brain with oxygen, and you start thinking you're emotional. Your emotional state calms down, you feel a lot better. You can even now try this practice, and you'll realize what state of mind I'm talking about here. I'll add my observations. I've been practicing sports for a long time now. I've started to notice behavioral changes like a little bit of a pissed off state of mind. All because of the workouts in particular. The sauna after workouts, and this whole set of things that help you individually to release the adrenaline hormone and the overexertion in the muscle. You literally become a person who, after last night without compassion for an ex-girlfriend. Today you don't even think about it. Dopamine is also released after a workout. And that's why you feel a little high after a run. Or sparring, which is not really surprisingly over a long period of time. Of training, that state of calmness will take hold even more because the body doesn't have anything to react to nervous situations. You're knocking on his door, bro, come on in. And he's like, fuck you, I'm done. Pervert torturing me with his cold baths. You see, the stress hormone has gone into the training process. Cold baths, contrast showers, training. He basically has nothing to release. There's nothing to release. You've released it all. You're walking around calm as a tank. That's basically the whole life hack. Also, forget about your bad habits. Such as like cigarettes, alcohol, different stimulants like coffee shops. Things that you don't even realize you're doing. But they're very popular now. I mean, if you smoke and you haven't smoked for 3 or 4 hours, your nerves start to fray, even the most ordinary things. And that's because the body is already demanding the same principle as with food. If you're hungry, you're angry. If you eat, you're a dandelion. Everything's good. Everything's good. So it's a good idea from your diet. I'm not even talking about sleep. It's a problem of a lot of people. You go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning and your argument to stay awake. I'm just gonna play 2 more games. I need to get my rank up. And then I go to bed and you're up until 6 o'clock in the morning. You're up in the morning, you're tired in the morning. You get up, you're pissed off all day. Hence you're lazy to do anything. It's because your body's tired, no motivation. Thomas Shelby. He usually holds it all in until to a certain peak, and then it fucking blows his fucking mind. And then it fucking blows his mind, you know. But you'll notice that too, when you watch the show. You're like a match. First you burn, then you burn, then you burn, then you burn, and then you burn out, and then you snap. It's the same with nerves, and it's generally advisable to let your emotions out, because if you're holding on to that shit inside of you, every day, every week, every month in and month out, you're gonna in a short period of time. So I'm providing the surest and safest way to be with nerves of steel. Nerves. And that is to train yourself to throw out all the negative thoughts that you've accumulated. Get rid of bad habits so that you don't add new things to the list of negativity. And practicing breathing so that you don't lose to your opponent and not give in to panic. It's harder, but it's much more effective. You know, unlike your breakdowns, after which a man ruins his life. Because how can a person be calm when he's got a whole box of negativity behind him? Muscles are tight, adrenaline rushing. Finally come to terms with your own imperfection. Just because you're not good at something doesn't mean you're a piece of shit, that you're worthless, that you're weak. You don't have to hold yourself to a higher standards. You strive for them, but you don't put yourself under the wheel. Yes, you have to strive, you have to be strong. You have to get stronger and stronger, more powerful and stronger and more confident. But you can't put it like a tire iron to keep you from stumbling. Or else how would a professional reach a high bar if he didn't make mistakes and do fucked up? It's impossible, because only mistakes really help a person realize where he made a mistake, because you're there. Blaming yourself for all your sins, your nerves are not going to be ironclad. You have to accept defeat, analyze it, take stock. And of course, remember, for the rest of your life you can't do that. What people out there think of you, you have to put them in the lowest place. A lot of people's opinions are like a whore's opinions, always changing. You're always gonna be wrong to someone else stupid to someone else, someone who doesn't understand, and so on and so forth. Because it's not thinking, it's evaluative. Judgment of your personality from other people. So, another person, for example, doesn't like your left eye because it's bigger than your right eye. It's kind of half closed. I'm basing my judgment on how you're gonna react to the barking of your neighbor's dog will determine your true nature. Are you gonna get on all fours and start barking at her? Or will you ignore it and forget the situation in 2 minutes? That's what it means to have nerves of iron. To give yourself an estimate of how you're going to react to a certain situation at that very peak moment in the situation. You're not going to snap out of helplessness, but you're going to realize how you can to turn things to your advantage.